welcome to thegruelingtruth.com. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Today we're going to be talking about the highly anticipated Formula One Miami Grand Prix. We're joined today by Marcus, who's very much into motorsports, especially Formula One. How you doing today, Marcus?
Hi there, Mike. Pretty good, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. Really excited to be here and to talk about Formula One in general.
Yeah, and so we've got the Miami Grand Prix coming up this weekend. What can you tell us about this weekend's race and the racetrack?
Right, so it's the first time that Miami is going to be hosting a Grand Prix. The circuit is a 5.4 kilometer circuit. It's brand new, so it means that there's been no racing done on it whatsoever. So the teams have absolutely no data about how their tires are going to work out. They have no idea how the cars are going to cope. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this weekend's going to develop.
Yeah, now the last time round in Italy, we saw a sprint race. With this weekend's race, will this weekend's race be the same?
No, this weekend's race will not have a sprint race. In fact, the sprint race only are only going to take part in like 4 races this year. So it will be just a standard race. You have 3 practices, and then you've got like the qualifying, which will be held on the Saturday, and you have the final Grand Prix, the race, which will be held on Sunday.
All right, so let's talk about the race. How's it look for this weekend in terms of teams and drivers? I know everybody's always interested in Red Bull versus Ferrari.
So yeah, Red Bull have been wanting to pack up the pace again. They've had a few unlucky results in the last few races, so they really want to be stepping up their game. Ferrari, as we know, have been really dominant with the recent rules and the recent rule changes. So it's definitely going to be a fight between those two. We do know that Charles Leclerc is going to get a new engine for the Miami Grand Prix, and we do know that Red Bull doesn't like the heat very much, and I think in Miami is going to be something like 31 degrees Celsius. I'm not quite sure what that's in Fahrenheit, Mike, but
I'm not either, because I don't know it. Because see, Celsius was something when I was in kindergarten, 1975. They were going to try to teach us. But all the Americans were too stupid, so we just went back to Fahrenheit.
I think it's something like 95. I think so. It will be pretty warm. The Red Bull doesn't like the warmth at all. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do give Max or Sergio Perez a new engine, or they're just going to wait it out and see what's going on. But I'm pretty sure that they've got their heads scratching. I'm pretty sure they're worried about that.
Now, what about Mercedes? What's happening to them? As they were at the top of their game, were they not?
Yeah, they were, but with the recent rule changes, Mercedes really have not gotten it right. So what happened was that last year and the years before that in the new turbo hybrid era, the Mercedes, they've been really on top of their game because they've had the best engineers, they had the best drivers, and they've just been so consistent. With last year, with Red Bull, they managed to lure over some engineers and mechanics away from Mercedes, and they've actually struggled a little bit with that. So they're really struggling to get hold of the car. And what's happened is because of porpoising. So the car is literally bouncing from the back because the downforce is generated from the floors rather than air flowing on top. So it's just they're really struggling with it, and we really do hope that they can be back up in their game because Mercedes boss Toto Wolff, he did say that this is not worthy of a world champion's car, and it really isn't. It's a shame to see them down there, but hopefully they can bring some upgrades to the Miami Grand Prix, and we'll be able to see that fight for positions again.
So what does the rest of the field look like to you, the rest of the drivers and the teams?
Okay, so it's going, apart from Red Bull and Ferrari, you still got the 2 other Red Bull drivers. So you have like Sergio Perez, who's been really good recently. He's been on really good form. And you've got Carlos Sainz from Ferrari. He's really not been looking too good. He's had a few unlucky races, both in Imola and in Australia, where he failed to finish twice. But he does have a contract extension for the next 2 years. So it's not like he's got anything to prove. He just really needs to get back into his groove and try and do his best for the team. The rest of the field, it's looking pretty good, but like I said, it's a new track. It's with new cars, new tires, very, very, very limited data. So it's going to be really hard to make out exactly who's going to fall out under which order.
All right, so let's hear it then. What are your predictions for this weekend?
So my predictions is going to be either someone from Red Bull or Ferrari. I'm thinking more Ferrari in this case. However, if Red Bull do get on top of their issues, I do not want to discount Sergio Perez from winning this Grand Prix. He's been on fantastic form recently. It could be that the two number one drivers, Charles and Max, that they're going to be fighting it out for sure. So I really do think that Sergio Perez might have a good chance to win, but it's definitely going to be some kind of Ferrari, Red Bull form of podium. Could be that Mercedes do get on top of their issues, and with the upgrades that they're going to bring over, it could be that they're going to fight for a podium as well.
So, if I want to bet the race, where do I find? What do you think are the best sports books to use for this race?
Okay, so you definitely got Caesars, which is a fantastic sports book. They have some good odds on Max and on Charles to win. You got odds of 100 and 140 for Max and Charles respectively. And you got 1,000 on Sergio Perez. So if you really want to make some serious cash and you think that Sergio Perez has a good chance of winning, he'd be the guy to bet on. I also like FanDuel Sportsbook. They've got a lot of good options as well. The odds aren't as competitive as Caesars, but I find those two sportsbook the best sportsbooks to use to bet on Formula One.
All right, Marcus. It's been great talking to you about the upcoming race in Miami. Hopefully we can do this again with some more upcoming races, but it's been great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
All right, guys, that's Marcus. I'm Mike Goodpaster. We're going to go ahead and wrap the show up. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. But for now, for Marcus, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.